today I'm going to try something a bit different. I'm going to play clips from a ad that was aired in Minnesota showing Matt Birk, 2012 NFL Man of the Year, who is in an anti-gay marriage ad about a belt going there. And I'm going to play a bit of it and then have things to say about it. So hopefully this format will work. Let me know what you think and if you agree or disagree on it.
Outside, and unfortunately even inside our own parishes, we have people telling us to stop talking about marriage, an institution that the church has been talking about for thousands of years.
Okay, this first part, I just have a few things to say about this. First of all, it's good that people inside and outside the church are speaking out against this kind of movement. It's stuff that is harming people. It is spreading lies and propaganda. And the other thing is this whole statement of the church is a marriage institution that the church has been involved in for 2,000 years. Oh, well, for thousands of years. False. It wasn't actually for the longest time that the Catholic Church got involved in marriage. And even then, it wasn't such a huge, massive deal until much later.
They say that if we stand up and talk about the natural definition of marriage, that we are somehow being mean or bullies. Supporting
What natural definition of marriage? There is no natural definition, not even in the Bible. In the Bible, it has God endorsing in tons of different types of marriage, from marrying a rapist to, multiple wives and whatnot, incest. The Bible is not a good source for what, Christians seem to think marriage is about. So I don't get where this idea comes from. Second of all, yes, you guys are being bullies, bigots, hateful, hurtful. And you're being discriminating against other religions, other culture, beliefs, and ideas. So yes, you are being all of this.
the basic rights of children and the authentic rights of people with same-sex attraction are not mutually exclusive, and we must resist the forces that are telling us otherwise.
Okay, this one I really don't get. Authentic human rights for people with same-sex attraction. What is these authentic? Is this what the Catholic Church decides is authentic? Is this what this person decides? Who decides what are authentic rights, especially in a secular country? A country that isn't based upon religious beliefs, where no preference to any one religion is given. Who decides this? And I definitely like this whole idea that only quote unquote authentic rights are acceptable. Also protecting children from what? What are they trying to protect here? What rights of children is not mutually exclusive? This is weird wording here. If anybody can explain it, let me know, because I'm a little confused about this.
It's unfair to children if we don't make every effort to stand up for their rights, to be known and loved by their mother and their father whenever possible. While divorce, death, and other circumstances too often prevent it, no child should be intentionally deprived of knowing their mother and their father.
Okay, now this one is definitely another head scratcher. What is he talking about? How does gay marriage somehow affect the children's right to know their mother and father? How exactly? How is this any different from heterosexual couples who adopt, whose parents aren't the legal parents of them, or anything else. How does this fit in? This is more to do with gay adoption, or if it just has to do with, a gay husband having a child from another marriage, falling in love with another gay, and getting married. How does that any different from what already happens? There's something stopping them from being together. Marriage isn't going to change that. This is a straw man, just blink at the children kind of nonsense. Bullshit. It has no place.
If we allow genderless marriage to be made law, the implication is that the contributions of part of our community, either men or women, are somehow insignificant and less valuable. I can put up with a lot from the government, like higher taxes, and while I don't like it, pushing God out of public schools, but letting a small number of business and government elites and judges define what marriage is for Minnesotans doesn't seem very fair and doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, now here is even bigger straw man. Implication that the contribution of some mothers and fathers is somehow less by gays marrying. What does this have to do with anything? Best I can tell is, the fact that two gays or two lesbians can rear a child just as well will mean that having a mother and father is not as important, that being a mother is somehow pointless, useless. That will not change that. This won't change any of that in the least bit. This is scaremongering, just idiotic nonsense, the kind of thing Christians and other religious people that are against gay marriage and whatnot throw stuff that non sequitur. It's just out there to create an emotional response to get people pissed off. Bullshit. It's not going to change anything. If it changes anything at all, it's going to be your own fault because you feel threatened. By being able to get married to someone else isn't going to change anything. Complete nonsense.
Our culture today of moral relativism attacks marriage and a lot of our Catholic values. But marriage is a foundation of our society and is definitely something worth fighting for. My marriage and the institution itself. And a lot of people say, live and let live, let everybody do what they want. But this is too important of an issue to do that on. We need to stand up and fight for it and preserve it for our sake, for our children's sake, and for the sake of our entire society.
This is another bullshit strawman. What does gay marriage have to do with society? How is it going to change, destroy, ruin society? In all the countries, especially Canada where I live, that have gay marriage, nothing's changed. Your fear-mongering hasn't done anything. You guys have been lying and bullshitting and fucking up this nonsense for years now. All this scaremongering and whatnot doesn't do anything. Nothing has changed up here. Except gays are allowed to get married. There is no big conspiracy. There is no big destruction of the world. The only thing that is destroyed is your stranglehold on telling everybody else how they must live. Your religious discrimination against all other religions and beliefs. Your discrimination against anybody else that doesn't hold your beliefs. Because you don't care about the children. You don't care about society. You care about your beliefs becoming less and less important and less controlling of the country. People have a right to do what does no harm to others. And gay marriage does no harm, except to bigots like you.
To protect marriage, because it was around long before the state came around. I don't think it's their place to redefine it. And so I guess as human beings, I think most of us just search for the truth. And what is the truth? And as Catholics, we try to find what is God's will. And I believe that this is his will, to stand up and fight for it and protect one of the gifts that he blessed us with.
He makes a very good point here. Yes, marriage has been around long before the state. Of course, what he ignores, and most bigots ignore, marriage has been around long before Christianity, Judaism, or any of those such religions. It goes back to tribal times long ago. Marriage is simply where two people decide to spend the rest of their lives. Only recently has it become a contract of some kind. Only recently is it about love. For the longest time, it was about money, power, children. That's it. This is not, the definition of marriage has changed so many times. The Catholics changed the definition of marriage to mean only Catholic marriage. For the longest time, mixed marriages meant Catholics marrying any non-Catholic. It was not allowed by the Catholic Church. So no, the Catholic Church has changed it so many times. Society has changed the definition and idea of marriage so many times, even away from the Bible. So no, you're deciding what you think it should be, not what your supposed God wants. I don't see your God speaking anywhere. I don't even see him mention marriage in that way anywhere in the Bible. So what makes you think, you're going to get to decide now for everyone else? If you don't want to marry gays, you want gay marriage to be part of the Catholic Church, fine. But we live in a society that isn't a Catholic society, so you don't get to decide for every other religious person and non-religious person what is or isn't marriage. So fuck off with your bigoted hate. You don't belong in a civil society that cares about everybody's ideas and beliefs, not just Catholics. Well, there it is. That's my thought in this video. All it is really is bigots whining about their rights to take away other people's rights being removed, and the right to discriminate against all non-Catholic ideas of marriage and whatnot that doesn't harm anyone. They don't give a fuck about children. They show this time and time again. As soon as a child's born, they don't give a fuck. They don't care about, children being molested or hurt in a bad family, because you're supposed to stay in the family. Divorce is bad, even when it hurts the children. So no, the Catholic Church has no place speaking out against marriage. Something they stole and declared it's their own, that they had no business doing so. So fuck off, any of you that think gay marriage is wrong. In this society, you don't belong. You don't belong in a civil society that cares about everyone, not just certain religious beliefs and certain religious people. So comment below if you agree or disagree. I know I'm a little pissed off. It might piss off a few Christian fans, but you're taking away my right and other gays' right to be happy and to get married for stupid reasons that you can't even prove. They're simply your opinion and your claims. So you have no business destroying my rights because you don't like it.